Hello! So today I'm going to be trying out for the first time the new Tom Ford eye palettes. These are the Eye Color Quad Creams and they look just like the normal quads from Tom Ford. I took out the little, all of the little eye brushes that they have, but it looks like it, but they're actually a different texture. So I wanted to show you swatches and then swatches next to my other Tom Ford cream products, and then I'm going to apply them. So these are the 4 shades that I have in Tiger's Eye, and I think that they are so beautiful. This is really like a blue eye friendly palette for sure. And this shade kind of surprised me. I thought it was going to be a little bit darker, but if you look here, the ones on the bottom are all of the swatches from the quad. So we've got that top kind of pearly light peach. Then we've got the brighter vibrant coral kind of peach. And then we have that sort of mid-tone gold, maybe a little bit dirty of a gold. And then we have sort of a plumbed brown. So those are the 4 shades swatched. And then above that, I actually wanted to swatch my cream colors that I have in my duos from Tom Ford. So this is my favorite, Golden Peach, and I have that right above that sort of peachy shade in this quad. Golden Peach next to that one, it definitely looks more rosy. And then this one looks way more like coral and more of a vibrant peach. So I do think that these give a very similar finish, like as far as on my hand swatches, but there's definitely a different texture. The other one I have here, this is Sun Worship. Next to that lightest shade, Sun Worship is very gold, very sheer. It's my least favorite of my duos that I have as far as the cream. And then this is Naked Bronze, and actually surprisingly very similar to that 3rd shade. It's a little bit darker, a little bit deeper, but again, it's that sort of dirty gold that I think he really likes. So I would say that this formula for the duos is definitely a cream, and you kind of had that manipulation time with it. And I think that while these are also still easy to manipulate, as far as what I've seen with them, they are much of like stiffer cream, and when you're kind of going in there with your brush, you actually do get some kick up like it's a powder product. So I think that cream to powder is a good, way to describe this, and I think that the ones from like the duos are a true cream. I'm kind of excited about this though because I think it's obviously less messy. So I'm gonna try this look. I'm gonna try using all 4 shades, and kind of how I would usually do it. Since I swatched this one and realized it's not that dark, I'm actually gonna layer the gold or the peachy shade on top of the gold, and then deepen with a little bit of that. So let's get into it. I'm excited because I saw all of these look beautiful, but this one of course like immediately called to me. But if I like this, I do think I'll probably pick up the other shades. I know that right now Sephora has they're not available in any of the other ones right now. It's just the Tiger's Eye. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the deepest shade first, and I'm gonna use my Sonia G. This is the crease one. I really like this for laying down like a specific color and not going too heavy with it. So as you can see, maybe you can see this, when you touch into this, there's like definitely a little bit of powder kick up, and there's definitely like powderiness on the brush. So I'm gonna tap that off for sure. I don't want a lot of this. And then I tend to put this on one side and I kind of stamp it on the outer portion of my eye, and then I will drag the rest of it through my crease. I usually don't want, I want a little bit of depth, but I don't want really dark color for this look. And I really like this brush for kind of doing that. So I'm going to go back in. Let's see if we can show. I'm going to stamp it. And there is definitely some powdery kick up. I'm going to drop that off so there's not much there at all. I'm going to stamp this, and then I'm going to brush it through my crease. I kind of love this for one very specific look. The Sonia G Crease 1 is perfect for this. Okay, so then I'm going to use the next shade I'm going to use is going to be this gold. And then I'll go back in at the end and kind of go back and redefine with this darker shade, but I want to go and lay down a little bit more of the color in the center. So I'm going to be using my M Time Ariel brush, and I'm going to go into this one. And yeah, you can definitely see there's marks from the brush. So it's not quite as creamy as I thought it was going to be upon first hearing about this. I do think your hand will probably get, using your finger, will probably get a little bit of a better application, but I'm just going to layer it a little, and I think that should be fine. I think that's a really pretty shade. Okay. Of course, I'm most excited for this palette for the peach though. If you're into peaches, this looks like such a nice palette. Okay. I think that looks really pretty. I'm going to switch to the other side of the brush and go into the peach. I'll tap off a little bit. So I do have a little bit of fallout with this, which is interesting since it is like a creamy product. I am tapping off, but so I'm just getting like a wash of that peach. It actually doesn't look that strong. I might go back over right now with my finger with the peach because I want to get a little more of the peachy tone. So let's do that. Let's see if we can kind of build up that peachy color. I love the idea of the peach and gold mix though. I mean, I think that's so flattering. The peach isn't quite as bright, but it could be because of the gold. I think it's coming out more vibrant in my camera than in real life. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is just spot with the lightest shade. Let's see. I'm just going to use my finger for that. So it's not that much of a difference in color tone. It's not like a really bright tone. That's kind of one of those like wash of color shades. And then what I'm going to do is go in with my Huda Beauty. This is the light one, I think. I love this for the mattes in here. I'm like always using these 4 mattes. So I'm just going to really quickly grab my crease brush and just brush this out, not through my crease, but up to my brow bone, just so I get a little bit of matteness because this is all very shimmery. Okay, just a little bit through there. Just a little bit of a blend. All right, so then I'm gonna go in again with my Sonia G and add a little bit more of that plummy shade, or that brown shade, blackened plum maybe, brown plum. And I'm gonna tap that off and just add a little bit more now that I kind of got a little bit off. I love that it sort of has a like aubergine look to it on my eyes, at least. You can probably see that. Hopefully you can see that. It looks really pretty. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with my Thrive Cosmetics. This is, what shade is this? This is Muna. I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but this is like a plummy shade. I'm just going to go under my eye with this. Make my eyes look a little bit green. I'm not going to do anything too heavy for lining. Okay. I'm going to add a touch of this on the top. This shade also does have some shimmer, so it's like a very shimmery, but like pretty, not like a glittery eye. All right, and I'm going to mascara, and then we're going to talk about this eye look. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's like a kind of go-to staple eye look for me, so I like that. I'm going to be using my Mob Beauty mascara. This one's a little bit finicky. If you watched any of my other demos recently, I kind of have to use this little brush with it right away because it gets clumpy if I don't, but I really like the volume it's giving. So I'm hoping that as this sort of dries out, as I use it over and over again, it gets better. I often find that like my mascaras get, you know, a little bit better over time when they get a little bit more dried out. Super wetness could maybe contribute to some of that clumpiness, but I think that looks super pretty. All right, I think that looks really nice. I'm gonna add a touch to under my eye. And then I am going to brush that out because the under eye can get a little intense with that mascara. Okay. Okay, so thoughts on the first application of this. Now, it's interesting because I just played with it on my hands. That's what I was like, feeling the texture and all of that. I do think that the only disappointment I have with it is that this peachy shade wasn't quite as vibrantly peachy as I thought it was going to be. I thought that when I put it with the gold, it was going to give me like a really kind of cool shade. But I do think it's really pretty. It is like a really easy kind of go-to everyday eye. This is less creamy than I thought it would be. It's more of a cream to powder, so don't expect it to be as creamy as like these duo pots. Which makes sense, I guess, because if it was too creamy, it would probably dry out in this container. So I do think this is really pretty. I'm excited to try some of the other eye looks from this. I think it gives, you know, a good amount of depth for me. I don't really need a shade darker than this. So I think that looks pretty. Hopefully you liked it. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you want to know anything else I'm wearing, just let me know. Okay, bye.